What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fuel for Thought podcast. Kevin, what's it about today?
It is about probably the most impressive Porsche collection in the world.
And why do we give a shit about Porsche? Remind me.
Well, first of all, because I own one, and second of all, because in my humble opinion, I think Porsche is definitely part of the history of supercars and just racing in general.
Better than BMW?
Oh, 100%. Fuck BMW.
Sorry, BMW lovers. We love you still, but not Tesla owners. Okay, so yeah, what's it all about today? So this collection, what makes it so unique? Where is it? Whose is it?
So this is, it kind of broke the internet. It was never really known as to, that existed in the first place. And then a couple articles, I want to say a year ago, popped up of just this insane Porsche collection. And it's not just any Porsche collection. It's an all-white.
So every single Porsche is white?
Every single Porsche is white in there. Well, first of all, it's every single car in there is a Porsche.
Yeah.
And then they're all white, and then they're all low mileage.
That's crazy.
And
by the looks of it, even the garage or the warehouse is white too. So the white floors, white ceilings, white posts.
Yeah, exactly. This was an insane collection. So much attention to detail. Everything was just perfection in this collection. And we're not talking about a small one. This is upwards of 50 cars.
That's insane. So they're all in one warehouse, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's insane. So, yeah, I mean, whose is it? And where is it located?
So we don't know that. It was an anonymous owner. No recollection. Nobody is taking credit for this. It was somewhere in Texas. Obviously a big warehouse is going to be somewhere with warehouses. But no address, no nothing was ever revealed. And some of these cars are very, very rare. We're talking about very limited numbers, very rare specs, because especially for some of the older exclusive models, they weren't all built in white.
Yeah.
Some of them were you had to take, for example, they have a Turbo S exclusive, which was by default all in this orange copper color. Mm-hmm. But somehow this guy had a white version of that car.
That's crazy. Do you think he just painted them, or do you think he got them custom ordered from Porsche?
I think most of these were, so some of them are older, so he either repainted or restored these cars.
Yeah. And
then some of the newer ones were probably, Porsche does kind of this ad persona thing where you can modify and pick your own colors. I mean, of course, you have to open your wallet. And we're talking about $50,000 to $100,000 to get a special allocation with a special paint. But the commitment to this whole theme was very serious.
Definitely. Even white wheels I'm seeing most of the time too.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so this was very impressive. But the reason it was kind of made public was because tragically the whole thing was going up for auction.
Really? The whole collection?
Yeah.
All 50?
Yeah.
Not just did he not keep any of them? Zero?
Every single car went up for auction, and even there was some highly sought after Porsche collectibles, manuals, owner's book, and all that. Everything went up for auction.
That's so sad.
Yeah, because this took probably over a decade to build. The amount of cars, building the warehouse and collecting everything. And then just for that to be auctioned, and it took, 2-3 weeks for it to be auctioned. I can't imagine putting so much time and effort into something, and then within 3 weeks, just gone. Everything's gone.
It'd be like selling your kid.
Yeah.
That's exactly brutal. Especially, obviously, this person or this family, whoever's collection this is, they're obviously very dedicated to Porsche. They're very specific about what they want. So this is obviously like what you said, a decade of passion and finding these cars and putting them in this warehouse to display it. Yeah. So yeah, that must have been pretty tough. There must have been a pretty serious situation for them to have to do this.
Yeah, so the rumor is there's financial troubles that happen. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine, I could imagine, let's say, a situation where you're being sued and you're oh shoot, I need some money quick, so you sell 2 or 3 cars maybe. Yeah. But for the whole collection to go up for sale,
that's the thing. They needed a lot of money. I'm wondering if it was an IRS bill or something. They just got screwed with like tax fraud or something. I don't know.
Maybe, because this whole collection, it's already been auctioned. That was about 2 months ago. The auction lot closed. It fetched upwards of $30 million. So we're not talking about like small numbers here. We're talking about 30 million, and probably gonna get rid of the warehouse and maybe sold some other stuff on the side. So 30 to 40, maybe even $50 million is what they needed in cash.
That's insane. Yeah, it's got to be something like that, like delinquent taxes or something.
Yeah, so it's some serious trouble with the law or the government or something that.
I mean, if you amass that kind of wealth, it's kind of inevitable at some point, I feel like.
Yeah, but for it to be ripped away within that quick,
it's true. I guess if they crack down, maybe, I don't know, or maybe like overseas things, like or like a cartel or something that's after them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's some serious stuff, and
it's brutal.
I mean, it was kind of beneficial because essentially this whole collection was just these rare number cars, very unique, were just never being driven. I guess the whole premise of this collection was it had to be a white Porsche, low mileage, and I'm just going to keep it in this warehouse.
Yeah.
Which was cool for photos, but these cars are never being driven.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, even when we talked about the Sultan of Brunei, like, so sad to see that many cars just rotting away, not being used. Like, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. Like, it's just like, like, just keeping them, like, they're meant to drive. They're meant to, be out in the world and be seen by people, not just be kept in a warehouse.
Exactly.
Like, sure, the collections are cool to see, but a lot of these are also, like, secret, right? Like, you don't hear about them unless, like, something like this happens.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know, because obviously he set this whole thing up and, like, has, we'll include pictures, but, like, has display cases essentially where the cars are parked and like everything's aligned properly, but like it's not public, so people can't just go in there. So who is it for?
It's not like a museum. Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's like he's like a Saudi prince or something and has like a whole family that he brings over or something, and maybe he gets to like entertain them through there,
or maybe
rides horses through it. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe friends get to see it, but that's it. It just seems like a shame, like locking up 50 cars for 20 people on this planet.
Hold on. Imagine hosting a wedding in there. That would be sick. Like setting up between the cars.
I can't imagine the insurance bill though.
Oh shit, yeah.
Because like if one thing catches fire and the whole warehouse burns down, you're fucked.
No, you're screwed. So the insurance for the night will probably be like $1 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be good. So
the auction results are on YouTube.
Okay. So like the whole auction's filmed?
Yeah.
Okay.
The quickest way is just on the website. They have all the like the dates, every single inventory that was sold, and the listing price. And some of these prices were record breaking. We're talking about not just one, like I'd say 3 or 4 cars fetched the most out of any of those examples.
Really?
So
what are some examples? I'm curious.
The biggest one was the 918 Spider. So this was the highest spec you could get for the 918. So YSAC package, like different paint from what they had allocated normally. So it was white wheels. I don't remember the interior. It might have been blue or just black like normally. And this thing, insane. So of course it was low mileage, so presumed to fetch a lot of money, but fetched $3.9 million.
That's ridiculous. Holy shit.
Most 918s are selling from 1.5 to like 2, maybe 2.5 for like a very good example. But
it's easy to get lost in these numbers because they're so big, but like if you think about that, like $100,000 car, you can get a sick car for $100,000. 39 of those.
Yeah.
For the price of this 918.
I mean, at that point, you could get 2 basic, maybe non-YSAC 918s. You could get 2 of them for that price. 2
Bugattis for that price.
And, like, I have a hard time wrapping my head around, like, sure, it's white. It's very low amount of Porsche 918s were painted white, but, like, just go and wrap your 918 white. Why spend an extra $2 million for a color?
Maybe bragging rights, like, I bought it out of this collection.
Yeah.
A secret collection.
Maybe, yeah, because it has some sort of cool history. Another one that just made zero sense was the latest gen GT2 RS fetched $1 million. We're talking about doubling. This is, I mean, it is numbered. There's 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
But basically doubling the price of GT2
That's
RS.
actually insane. Wow.
Again, because it's in white. Sure, it had like some rare options like painted bumpers, which usually is just black plastic. This was painted white.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, you can just go paint it yourself for like
for
30,000.
next to nothing compared to this.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Another one that was interesting, I guess. So the history of the 911R is essentially Porsche announced it. It was a GT3 RS without the wing.
Mm-hmm.
They announced it as the last 911 manual.
Mm.
And these things sold out. So I think there's 911 of them ever made. And they were reselling for 1.5, maybe even more. And then they announced the 992.2 GT3, which again had manual.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the owners that paid like $1 million+ for their 911R were like, what the fuck? Like, no promises is the last manual.
They're pulling the same shit as Ferrari from the last episode. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So a bunch of people sued Porsche. I don't know what happened. Maybe they got paid out. Maybe they settled out of court.
Yeah.
And then that just crashed the price of 911R. Because they went from, because new it was like 300, maybe 400,000.
Yeah.
And then they went to 1.5, and then as soon as that was announced, they're like, okay, why are we paying that much? Maybe 500,000. So they dropped by $1 million.
Wow.
But then this one in this collection fetched over $1 million.
Just a premium for a white one.
Yeah. So we're like kind of roller coasting with the 911 R prices, like up and down, up and down. We're back to over $1 million now.
So weird.
For what?
I mean, I don't know if you can take this collection as like a proper price for it, but I mean, we see like the 918 price, and you're like, what the hell?
Well, the thing is, like, it's kind of a trend. You're seeing these record-breaking prices at these auctions.
Yeah.
And then the people get the idea that, oh, well, I'm going to list my car for this much because, maybe they're not going to list theirs for 3.9, but they'll maybe list it for 3.5.
Yeah.
And someone's eventually going to buy it, and that kind of sets the new median for the prices.
It's almost just like, it's very subjective, kind of what people are willing to pay. Obviously, supply and demand, that's how it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point, actually. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and like, it goes to show these Porsche collectors have some really deep pockets.
They really do, yeah. It runs deep in like the wealthy community, the love for Porsche, which is pretty obvious from this collection.
Yeah. And yeah, one of them I think is my favorite Porsche ever is it went up for auction. It was the 997 Sport Classic.
I love this one too. This generation, the 997 body style, it was definitely one of my favorites. Like the 911 Turbo in this body style is one of my favorite cars for sure. Yeah, it's so sick.
And this one was just a tribute to the old 911, kind of like what Porsche does.
Same wheels
every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It had different wheels. It's just this ducktail that just makes it so unique. I don't know. It's simple.
It looks sick though.
But it just ties it.
Without it would just look like a Carrera 4S.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's basically what it is. It's just a Carrera. I think it's manual, and they only built 1,948. Which, pretty low number compared to, like, let's say the GT2 RS.
Exactly.
It's still pretty high.
And didn't we see something similar in traffic? We saw something with those wheels a couple days ago. I think we were coming back from the gym.
That was the most recent Sports Classic. So this was the 997. The most recent one is the 992.
Oh, they still make them in a different body style?
It's another special edition.
That's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, because it had the same wheels, the same like black retro wheels.
Yeah.
It looks good.
I think those are a bit less desirable because they're not manual.
Right.
But yeah, this one is just so nice, and it sold for $640,000.
To be honest, I'd probably rather have the PDK than the manual.
Yeah, I mean,
PDK transmission is ridiculous. Like even in your car, like we'll have to film a video, POV driving that thing, but
yeah, it's never gonna be faster, but it's just way more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Manual is always going to be
not in the city, but if you're doing a touring, in Toronto, I'd probably kill myself.
Yeah, for sure. You want to talk about your favorite car?
Yeah, so this might come as a surprise to some people, but man, this fucking tractor, man, it's This thing is awesome. Like, look at this. This thing, it just reminds me of like Cars. You know the movie Cars when they go tractor tipping.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me.
The
of.
cows, yeah.
This thing has got this state-of-the-art turbo diesel engine from that Porsche's made. So I mean, they're all over the map. They're on this for the flat six. Everyone thinks that's like, you know, their flagship engine. I think it's the turbo diesel. Even the V8 that you have in your car and the V10 in the Carrera GT. Like, they've gone all over the map for this. But I mean, this is the first time I heard about that they had tractors. And get this, $58,000. You can get 75 for the price of the 918. So I'd do that. I guess 75 tractors.
Yeah.
This thing is sick. I love the color too. No, but all jokes aside, this thing would look dope in your living room as like a prop.
Yeah.
If you have like a huge mansion, have one of these in like your yard or in your living room.
It's funny because like something like this would, at the time, would be seen as like a workhorse, like disgusting tractor that's like in the farm that nobody cares about. But nowadays, it's like
Very classic.
yeah, an art piece. Like,
Yeah,
you put this in your living room,
A museum
or somehow hang this up on the wall and be
Exactly.
like, "Wow, this is beautiful." And it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's hilarious. But like also when you like, if you go to like a Porsche museum in Germany, I would expect to see this like in like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, behind like the red tape
Mhm.
lines and stuff.
For sure, yeah.
Because it does look really cool. Like it's so retro looking. Like the back end looks exactly like a tractor nowadays, but like the front. Anyway, this is a car podcast, not a tractor podcast, but you get the idea.
Yeah, John Deere, we're waiting for the sponsorship.
Or Porsche, for that matter.
I don't think they build tractors anymore.
They should go back and put a V8 in there. Can you imagine? With a PDK transmission.
That'd be dope. I'd be racing a tractor on the highway.
GTD Tractor RS.
Yeah.
Be dope. All right, sweet.
So, yeah, this collection is being broken up. I guess a bunch of cars are going to join other cool collections that
Yeah.
will probably never
Maybe
be
it's
driven.
a good thing, though. But yeah, like you said, maybe it joins a collection that's never going to be driven, or it's driven by someone who does love driving it, and we get to see all these cool cars again. Because a lot of them are like older cars.
Mhm.
We'll provide a link so you guys can see the auction. But yeah, like I feel like this might be what the world needed. You know, just putting them back in the hands of people that really want to drive them and stuff.
Yeah,
So I feel like it might be good.
yeah.
Hopefully,
So
it's still drivable.
we'll get to see what happens, and hopefully good things come out of it.
Yeah.
There's a side note though. I did not know this. So I previously thought the most expensive car ever sold at auction
A Ferrari, right?
was the 250 GTO.
Right.
It was like 40 million or something. But as of 2022, the most expensive car in the world is a Mercedes-Benz SLR. I'm not even gonna say that.
Uhlenhaut.
Coupe, and it sold for an insane. I had to reread that. $142 million.
Bruh. Imagine how many fucking tractors you can buy.
Like, why? I just can't wrap my head. Like, that's so
ridiculous.
much money.
Like, okay, it's a cool car, sure. It's a Gullwing. That's cool. It's like the original Mercedes style, but
Yeah.
bruh, are you serious?
Like, that's the price of a yacht. You can take a yacht or an old Mercedes. Like,
Literally.
what?
Like, it's obviously just somebody who wants something that no one else can have. That's kind of what it gets to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same as art, I guess. You don't really buy art because it's functional. You buy it because it's rare. So I'm guessing that's probably the same thing with this.
That's
It's
true.
not function.
And I guess in a way it's to park assets and
Exactly.
like,
Appreciation.
hopefully, I mean, yeah, but then like who has that much money and who can spend that much money on a car in the future?
Some Russian oligarch, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, like
Interesting. But also, whoever tells you that cars are a depreciating asset, show them that fucking photo. I'm curious what they'll say if they see that, because I bet you in a couple of years that'll be worth $200 million.
I don't think so. I don't think anyone's gonna. First of all,
Maybe it is still a depreciating asset.
Yeah,
I think it's probably overvalued. But do you know, like, did this just change hands? Is that why it was so expensive, or how much it sold for before?
so this was at auction. I'm not sure.
So this got bid up to 140. Holy
Yeah.
shit! Okay, that's wild.
I feel like some of these auctions sometimes are where a bunch of rich folks, gather in a room. It's more of a almost ego thing where
Mhm.
like who can spend the most and who has the most money more than the actual thing they're buying.
How do you even wire someone $142 million?
So I'm sure there's ways.
Just transfer share equity in their companies or something.
Yeah, just exchange CO positions.
They send a servant 142 days in a row to send $1 million.
So that's what broke people don't understand.
Yeah.
That's us. We're limited to what, like 5,000 e-transfer per day.
They are a bank. They're their own bank.
Yeah, they just
stockpile cash and gold.
Transfer money like that.
It's a good point. Maybe they deal in gold still. They're back on the gold standard or Bitcoin.
Potentially, yeah.
Bitcoin maybe actually. Anyway, this has dragged on long enough. Yeah, we'll throw some links in the description for you guys so you guys can check this out. This is definitely something you want to look at. There's some really cool cars. They're nice photos too, actually. So you can see like what they look like what the cars are going to look like when they're with their new owners. So you can keep your eye out for them. But yeah, really cool collection. Honestly, I'm learning a lot about collections lately. Yeah, I didn't know about half of these. So
yeah, it's pretty interesting to like just think like how much one person can amass.
Yeah, it's insane. We've got to get a little crumb of that. That's all
I'd be stoked with like 2 to 3 cars in my garage. These guys have like 50 to. Sultan and Brunei had what, it's like 5,000.
Yeah, just to watch the CCTV cams about it.
Yeah,
don't even use them.
That's crazy.
Wow. All right, guys, that was episode 31 on the craziest Porsche collection potentially that we've ever seen. And maybe in the future we'll find a bigger one somewhere, and we'll hear about it in the nooks and crannies of Reddit or something. But until then, this is the biggest car collection. You now know the most expensive car in the world by a new margin. How much was the 250 GTO worth?
Like 40 million.
Yeah, so this beat it by threefold and then some. So pretty insane. Anyways, yeah, episode 31. I'm Jay.
Kevin.
And that was Fuel for Thought. We'll see you guys next week.
Goodbye.